Hello, so this is Drew Coolman. What I am going to be doing is, as a realtor, my job is to study the real estate market. So, what I'm doing is I'm actually studying, we'll say online, speaking my thoughts out loud. So, this is all kind of impromptu. I'm a very data driven guy, and I'm a big believer in for people to maximize their home purchase and home sales, they really need to understand the market. We're in a market with very tight inventory, so sellers need to know how much they can charge and get that in a very fast time frame to get multiple offers. Buyers need to understand the market. So when the right property hits, they can act aggressively, get the house they want, don't get beat out by a bunch of other agents and buyers. And you have to have confidence to act with that kind of passion. So, anyways, what I'm going to be doing is I'm simply going to be showing you what is taking place. I'm doing this from my knowledge, and I figure, you know what, with today's technology, why not just do it online? So, if anyone wants to see this after I do the research or during, if you catch it live, go ahead and ask questions, and I'm happy to answer those for you. But let's go ahead and get started. What you should be seeing the screen. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make my screen maximized and just work off of this. So I'm not certain if you're familiar with what's taking place on the market, but in summary, which I expect the research to show and prove, is we have very tight inventory. What that means is right now, when houses go on the market, they go under contract extremely fast. The sellers typically are not negotiating much at all, and the sellers are receiving multiple offers if it's being handled correctly. So, as a buyer, you need to be better prepared, and your realtor needs to be more skilled in order for you not to miss out on the right property. And some of those videos I'm going to do separate than this. This one is the whole agenda is to really look at the facts, the stats, and see what's taking place. I'm going to be throwing some tips along the way, but this one is more for, just pricing information instead of strategies and positioning information. So what you can see here is this is the MLS. This is the database of houses that realtors go to. So if you look at this, I'm going to be doing a listing date of this month. So we have not even hit through this month yet, right? If I wanted to do a full 30 days, I could do 4/23/2020. Right now, these are the residential properties. There have been 1,161 properties listed on the market in the last 3 weeks. So let's, out of curiosity, let's do that. 4/23/2020. And the reason that took a little while is just because I wanted to jot my notes down. And so if we ever talk on the phone and you hear me throwing things out, like in the last 30 days, over 1,100 houses have hit the market, well, that is not just stuff that I'm making up. This is information that I research on a weekly basis. So anything that's listed in the last 30 days, I want to see how many of those have gone under contract. I'll tell you what, when under that are active with contingency, meaning you can actually leapfrog them. And again, that one is a little bit more information than I'm going to do on this video. So anyways, out of that, so 693 are under contract or closed out of 1,161. So I can tell you instantly that's more than half. So that's almost 60% have been under contract or closed in under 30 days. So now what I want to do is I'm going to pull them all up, right? So again, we're back to this 1,523 number. So I'm going to break this down into a summary. So we have a bunch of different reports I can use, and I have to be careful of what I show on the screen, but I'm going to do what's called a summary report. So this is going to allow me to see the breakdown of the properties. Okay, so from this, 198 of those 1,523 are still active. So, and we can see like all of these should be under 30 days on the market, since that's the criteria we used for which properties were listed. And to give you a feel, like in 2008, the average days on market was around 120. And now, if we look at these closed properties, so there actually are 6 that have already closed in the last, they were listed in the last 30 days and they were closed in that same time frame. So that's a pretty fast turnaround. Pending is where the majority should be. You can see how many houses are under contract. Pending before listing, sold before listed. I mean, it's just, this is a market where you really have to be ready in order to win. Oh, did not write down the pending number. So there it is, pending 275. So all those properties that were listed in the last 30 days, more are under contract than still available. And then we're going to have just very few expired and withdrawns. Actually, we have more withdrawns than I expected, 21. Withdrawn temporarily off the market. So these are south, southeast, kind of a mix of all over the place, but a lot that have been temporarily taken off the market, which does surprise me because a lot of those I would have thought previously was coronavirus, but in these last 30 days, that still is covering 1 week in April. So, I mean, I get it. I expected more withdrawals previously than now. But so that's what we're looking at. So now you go from big to small. So now let's start saying, okay, area 11, that area is Lexington County. So that's a county I really like to focus on. I live in Lexington County, but has great schools. I think it's a great place to choose. And it's a strong market. So this tends to tell us a little bit of what's taking place. Now, for this one, let's go under for 150 to 250,000. That tends to be a very strong market. It used to be about, 100 to 200, but all these houses over the last few years have gone up a lot in value. So you can get houses under 150,000, but this is you get a nice house up to 250. The 200 to 250 range is usually a little bit more the move up buyer or a little bit higher price range for first time buyers. 150 is for your first home, probably where you're going to be looking at going. If you went to 100,000, the mortgage on that's probably going to be about 600 or less, to give you a feel. So 150 is probably going to put you in that 750 to 800 range. Okay. So let's see how we're faring now. Let's see what some of the properties are still available. I'm going to do a different view now. You know what? So let's go back. Here's what I want to do. Well, you know what? I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I want to go for everything that is closed under 250,000. I'm going to change this listing date back to the beginning of April. That's going to give us, you know what, even March 15th is going to give us a good feel for what the list to sales price ratio is. So what this is saying is how strong are sellers able to negotiate? And I would expect this number to be probably 99% or higher. So what we're going to do is let's go back to the CMA. That stands for Comparative Market Analysis. So here's what I want to do. I want to see, first of all, that is 342 have closed. So that's a pretty good sample size. So if you think nothing is closing, these are properties that have closed that have been listed for, I don't know, about 60 days. So not very long. So what we want to do is go down, and you can just see I'm going through this fast, but as we said, 342. Okay, and I blew up my screen, so because I made my screen higher, I can't exactly see the list to sales ratio. So let's see what this is saying. Median sales price, 164,000. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, so yeah, what it's saying here, it shows us it's using the 342 sales. This absorption rate is not really applicable because we're only looking for closed properties. The average sales price was 164,000. Median sales price as percentage of list price, 100%. So, and that includes, I don't want to get too deep into it, but a lot of buyers ask for closing costs. And if they ask for the seller to pay closing costs, the seller can say yes, no, or I'll pay it, but I'm increasing the list price. So that happens a lot. So there's going to be some properties that sell for above list price because the seller agreed to some of the closing cost. So as an example, if a buyer bought a house for 100,000 and they paid their own closing costs, that would be equivalent to if they bought a house for 105,000 but asked the seller to pay 5,000 closing costs. Either way, that seller's looking at a net of $100,000. But you can see, if you want strong negotiation, it doesn't get much stronger than being able to get 100% of what you're asking. So, you know, I'm going to break this down into different areas and price points on my own. I'm going to keep this one short. But again, where we're at is very tight inventory. If you're looking to buy a house, reach out to me and we're going to go ahead and discuss the different strategies, hacks, how to get it fast, how to protect yourself so you can be more aggressive. Because right now, if you wait, you're going to miss out. So I hope this helps. Reach out to me if I can answer anything, and we will go from there. You have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.